I am just thankful for all that God is doing. I think everybody in this building went through some type of situation last night after a verdict came in. I waited all day long for that verdict. I didn't keep my TV up, but I sure let it keep going in case it came up. And I was thinking, as my daughter was saying this morning, thanks be to God who always gives us the victory. Thanks be to God who gives us justice. And I thought to myself, and I'm getting ready to preach here, and this is going to kind of run into it some kind of way here. The fact that we don't see more done in our society is based upon the fact that we have nothing to say. We need to have something to say. If you're a citizen of this country, you have a right to say something. If we don't say something, nothing gets done. We'll come out and holler a little bit at the beginning, but you got to continue to holler if you expect to get things done. But as the Lord gave me this message even before yet last night, and the word says in Isaiah 6, and I'm not going to wait till you try to find out where it's at. The 8th verse says, I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, here am I, send me. And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. Then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. I want to preach to you a little while this morning. I think the same call is being put out there today. Who wants to go for God? The prophet Isaiah says, if you want somebody, send me. Not many people are going to do that without first trying to figure out what's involved with it. So if the Lord is looking for somebody, and I say, here am I, people don't do that quick. It's based upon the fact we don't quite understand yet what it's all about in walking with God, and we're not willing to submit everything to walk with him. So he said, when I heard the Lord saying that, I volunteered that I will go. And I can tell you in this hour for sure that if you walk with God, if you do what he's told you to do, if you apply this to your own life, rest assured you're going to face some issues. And I think we got too many people who don't want to rock the boat, who want to just kind of float through a situation, but I don't want to get involved. I don't want to upset nobody. You cannot take a stand and walk with God without upsetting somebody. Because when you preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, somebody's going to be upset. Somebody's going to like it. Somebody's going to appreciate it. But you'll have far more people to say, I just don't, I'm not going to do that. How many times, even on your job, when something went wrong and you saw somebody being mistreated or not being treated fair, how many times did you say something, or did you just say, well, I'm not going to say anything because I can't afford to lose my job? I think we got too many people that's concerned about themselves and where they're going and what's going to happen. That's why we can't get nothing done. That's why we ain't following God wholeheartedly, because it comes with a cost, and we're not willing to pay for it. How many times have you went to the store and was going to buy something and said you really wanted it, really liked it, it's the greatest thing ever that you ever seen, and all these things, and then when you get there and turn the price tag over, you say, I'm not buying that. That's because we don't like the cost. We don't like the price. I don't know if you've ever been into some of the higher-end places for jewelry stores and what have you. You can't see what the price is because the tag is turned down. And I used to be there looking like this, trying my best to see what does that cost. Because the word on the street is, if you have to ask how much it costs, you can't afford it. So, and I probably couldn't. But I was trying my best to take a good look and see what is the price and what's the reason for the price tag down. I'd like to see what it says, because the stores we usually go in, the price tag is swinging. It just see whatever you want to see. But if you go into the higher end, you don't have that. Sometimes you got to ramble through the dress and unzip it and go down in there, and it's under the armpit or it's over here, over there, because it's got a cost that once you find out what it costs, and you say, I don't really like that dress that well anyway. And that's the way it is with people walking with God. They like something. They approve of it. They think that's great. But if I got to go through all that, that's okay. It's okay. I'll pass. But before you found out the cost, you didn't pass. Before then, you said, I like that. That's what I've been looking for. I told you about my husband, and everybody's heard this story. And he loved my late husband. He's no longer here, but we were on vacation, and he had been looking for some brown slacks forever. Brown was one of his favorite colors. And he never could find the brown. So we were on vacation, and he went into the store, and he was so excited about finally finding these brown slacks he had been looking for forever. He didn't even, never do my husband not ask price, ever. That's not going to happen. And so he goes in there and get the slacks, and he goes back up to the counter with it and said, I'll take these, never looking at the price. Never would happen. Well, I was in another store. He was in this store. And so when I came back down the mall, he looked like he had seen a ghost. and I said, what's wrong? And he said, you ain't going to believe this. I said, well, did you find your pants? Yeah, I found them. They charged me $250 for a pair of pants, and there ain't even a coat with it. And I said, well, honey, if you want it, you've been looking for it, and, just go ahead, take it in stride. Oh, I mean, he was out of shape for the rest of the day. We left the mall. We got in the car. We stopped for dinner. He couldn't hardly think. He was looking crazy. I can't believe it. $250. Man, you're supposed to have at least a coat to go with them pants. I said, honey, it's really okay. If it's going to bother you that bad, why don't you just go back and take it back? No, I'm not going back. But you know what? That don't make sense, Rose. Okay. I'm telling you, we were on vacation for a little bit of while there for several days left, and we got ready to come home, and he was still preoccupied. And I said, are you still thinking about those pants? Yeah. I never paid that much for a pair of pants in my whole life, and neither would I ever pay that much. I said, well, you just did. Why don't you enjoy your slacks? Move on. You don't have to do it no more. You've done it this one time. Now go on. Get back to the hotel. He's still out of it. We get on the plane to come home. He's still out of it. I said, if something would bother me to that degree, I would return it. Because this is over the top here. So she said, when we got home, he said, it'll never happen again. And I said, yeah. I said, and what was it that you didn't even look at the price? That's not like you. He's going to tell me how long he watched a shirt or pair of pants at TJ Maxx, how long he watched it. And Rosie, you know those pants are now $3 for that pair of slacks. They started at I'm watching it. My husband was cheap. Very cheap, very tight. Now, we go on vacation. I'm talking about costs right now. We go on vacation. We go to this place where they sell sunshades. And I picked it up, and I thought, oh, these are nice. And I tried them on, looked in the mirror, and I thought, boy, these are pretty. And so Charles said, let me try. I said, sure, here, try them. He tried, because either man or woman could they call them unisex, so anybody could wear it. And he said, boy, I like those shades. He kept looking, and he said, boy, I like them shades. I said, well, honey, go ahead and buy it. He still didn't know what the price was yet. So I said to the man behind the counter, I said, how much are those shades? They're $450. Here go my husband, look at this. He was just looking and seeing at it and liking himself. And the man said $450. He said, slid them off, gave them back to him like that. And then he said to me, why don't you buy them? I said, no, and then we can share sons in the word. And she said, Lord, grant one of my sons to sit on the left and one on the right. And he said, it's not in my power to do that, but can you drink of the cup I'm going to drink of? Oh, yeah, we can drink of it. He said, you shall drink of it. But for me to place you on the left or the right ain't mine to do. That's to my Father. But a lot of people think they can drink the cup until they start tasting. All of a sudden they start thinking, boy, I don't know if I can handle this or not. You know, it looked like it tasted pretty good. See, people don't want to pay the price. It's got to be a certain way. It's got to taste a certain way. It's got to look a certain way, or else oh no, it's not for me. And I said, I thought you just liked that. You were so crazy. Yeah, I know, but honey, that's before I knew what the price was. There are no bargain deals from God. You either going to pay the price or you don't get it. You either fast and pray and stay before God and seek his face or you don't get it. You can talk about it all you want to, but you don't get it. See, everybody wants to be like this other person, but are you willing to drink of the cup? Are you willing to feel the pain that I felt? Are you willing to suffer what we've suffered? Are you willing to go through the fire and through the flood? Are you willing that no matter what happens, I'm not giving up God? The Apostle Paul said, I'm persuaded that nothing shall separate me from the love of God. Nothing. I'm determined I'm going all the way. That's why people don't make it in this hour. They never were persuaded they were going to stay. They started out wondering why this, and do I have to do that, and is all that necessary, and why do I have to say this and say that? Get a grip. What's the price? You hear the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? God, I'll go. If the Lord needs somebody, here am I, send me. If you want somebody to go, I'll go. But no, when the Apostle Paul was converted on the road to Damascus, Ananias got a message from God. Go and tell the Apostle Paul what? Tell him what great things he must suffer for my name's sake. We don't want to hear that suffer. The devil is a lie. God must have not sent you to me. The God I serve is not about me suffering. This is about somebody lying over you, prophesying a lie, telling you what all God's going to give you, and I see the glory of God on you, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do great things, and you're going to have this, and you're going to have a Cadillac, and you're going to have a house on the hill, and all this garbage. Oh, we believe that. Well, praise God. Well, amen. Glory to his name. But if he says you must suffer, for if you don't suffer with him, you can't reign with him. You got to suffer. No matter what, walking this walk with God requires that you suffer. Walking this walk with God means I go through the fire. Walking this walk with God means I go through the flood. Walking this walk with God means that I'm going to be hated, talked about, lied on, mistreated, misunderstood. All those things go with it. Yes, yes, yes. So if you heard his voice this morning, he said, who in here? Who's willing to go for me? I wonder how many people would have to say, well, I need to think about it. I need to try to figure it out. I thought when Brother Simmons first came to this church, he came from the same church I was raised in, Church of God in Christ. And he's a minister. But when he got here, he found out that there's a price to be paid. Where you came from, nobody's paying no price. They ain't heard from God. They couldn't tell you or warn you or nothing. He come here and found out what the real thing is. And he says to me later, he says, Sister Rose, I think I better rethink this thing of being a preacher. I said, buddy, you don't rethink being a preacher. See, that's a call. That's not something I make up in my mind. Okay, I'm going to be a preacher. Well, I just quit doing this and I'll just become a preacher. No, this is a call. That we're called to do this job. This is not about whether or not I want to or I like it. Paul said, woe be unto me if I don't preach it. I am called to do what I do, but I love what I do. I don't have to rethink it. I don't have to try to figure it out. I don't have to try to see what the next move is going to make. Just follow him. That's all you got to do is follow him. And whatever the cost is, quit complaining about it. If you want it, get it. If you like it, buy it. If you don't, go home and leave it be. You say, well, well, sometimes you got to figure it out. All depends on your budget. Well, I understand that, but I'm talking about spiritually speaking now. Spiritually speaking. I went in Penny's one time some years ago, and right in the jewelry counter, when you came in that door, you came right in front of the jewelry counter. And I said, I'll take this, this, and this. She said, what? You made up your mind that fast? I said, oh, yeah. Either you're going to get it or you're not. Either I got some money to pay for it or I don't. And if I want it, go ahead and get it. If don't, go on home. Don't stand at the counter, but they must be a fool. Go on home. Quit being troubled about it. You know, that don't even make sense for somebody to put. By the time you get through finding fault, by the time you get through picking it to death, the bottom line is they ain't going to change their price. You might as well either pay the price or move on. As simple as that. Do you want it or don't you? So, yeah, I liked it, honey, but they crazy. They're not crazy. Because somebody's coming in there and buy that. That's why they got the business. That's why it's in the counter. Somebody ain't going to complain about it. Somebody going to buy it. See? That's the way it's got to be when spiritually speaking. Quit walking around talking about what you want God to do for you and not willing to pay for it. Spiritually, to walk with God in the place he'd have you to walk. To have the anointing. Everybody's got the anointing. These folks got anointed dogs, cats, and anything. Let me tell you something. The anointing comes with a price. You don't just get it and say, well, I got it. It don't work like that. It requires something of you as a person. Quit sitting around talking about, I told the Lord to make me like you. Can you drink of that cup? Can you drink of it? You don't want to be like me. Yes, I do, Sister Rose. I just love the way you done. If I could just be like Sister Rose, you ain't about to go through a fraction of where I've been. Not a fraction. The wind barely blew on you yesterday and you still fainting. You're still trying to recuperate. You ain't getting ready to walk here. It is a price to pay. It will cost you. But when the Lord called me a long time ago, I said, I'll go. I did not know what all was involved. Neither was I concerned about it. I just knew one thing. When I started with him, I was in it to stay, and I was going to make it. That was already in my mind before I ever went there. This is what I'm going to do. I'm following God. I'm going to live right. I'm going to be a Christian. I'm not going to give a bunch of excuses why I might fail. I don't know. I hope I don't. I'm weak. Let the weak say I'm strong. Quit confessing what you think you can't do. You do any other devilish thing you want to do. You don't have no problem with nothing else. You just do whatever you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, and you really don't care what anybody thinks about it until it comes to God. In this hour, if you walk with God, you are going to be persecuted just for truth. If you speak up, if you take a stand, I have made more enemies in my life because I said what was really on the table. I didn't bite my tongue about it. Here it is. This is what's going on. People get mad with you. They hate you for the truth. You got to be ready to say, I'll pay the price. If you want to hate me for, I'm still going to say it. John the Baptist got his head cut off because he told the truth. It ain't lawful for you to have your brother's wife. So when the time came, they cut his head off. And there's people all over this building would say, I ain't going to be no John the Baptist now. I ain't getting my head cut off. I'll say a few things. You better talk loud enough and long enough until the truth is out there. And no matter who tries to get away from it, they can't get away from it. Put it out there. You're not going to be liked because of it. I thought, listen, I just don't want to have to be out there. You have to just be by yourself. Can't you have some friends? Yeah, you can. You sure can. Lots of them. If they're walking with God. See? If they're walking with him, yeah, sure. But we don't like being alone. Walking with God may require you to walk alone. Your friends may not want to go. Family may not want to go. Sometimes husband and wife don't want to go. But if you persuaded that you're going with God, it doesn't matter. I'm going with God. I don't care if anybody goes with me. Who says that we're hooked at the hip? Who says that we're connected to that point? If you don't want to go, I do. And when I first got saved, my husband didn't want to be saved. I was saved 13 years before he made a commitment. But when he said to me one day, he said, if I ever become a Christian, I want to be exactly like you. 13 years. I went to church and served God and lived for God in spite of the fact that my husband didn't. We'd leave and come out of the house, and he'd go that way to the club, and I'd go this way to church. But this was about me. This was about what I didn't mind doing. He said, I'm not ready for that. Had he died in that condition, he'd have went to hell. But I was ready to serve God. I got tired of all this stuff. It's time to turn my life around. Get in the place where I need to get. I don't have time for it. Yes. You know, sometimes people, you say to people, I want to do this, I want to do that. They say, well, do you know how much that costs? I don't really care, honey. That's what I needed. I wanted. I've seen it. That's what I'm going to get. I don't really care what it costs. When a person don't care what it costs, they're more likely to stay with God. The person that got to ask how much everything costs, they're not going to stay. Because at some point, the devil's going to shake a price tag in front of your face, and you're going to say, oh, no. If that's what it's all about, I can't do that. See? But if you come to him with a made-up mind, I'm going to be saved until you take me home, no matter what the devil says, no matter what may come my way, I'm going with God. Ain't nothing going to turn you around. Not one thing. You got to determine in your own mind, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay with God in spite of all the things that may come my way. What's the cost? Sacrifice. Self-denial. Not about you, about the kingdom. Not about you, not about your family, all about God. Because if we get everything in connection in the right place with God, we don't have to worry about how we treat our family. We'll treat them right. We'll love our husbands. We'll love our wives. If we first fall in love with God, we don't want to love him. And then we wonder why things are not working for you. That's why it's not. See, understand, we will not say, if you need somebody, God, count on me. We say, here, go ahead, you go ahead. No, go ahead, I don't mind. I hate to call a person in church for a minute to talk to them, and they said, and I said, so were you busy? Oh, I was just praying. I'm busy. I was just praying. I said, well, I'll call you back. Oh, no. I was getting ready to get up anyway. In other words, I've been here 5 minutes too long. I was getting ready to get up anyway. These people are not ready to serve God. It's not important if you interrupt an intimate moment between you and God. We're more concerned about if somebody interrupts us while we're making love to somebody. Hopefully your husband. Hopefully your wife. We don't want to be interrupted, but when it comes to God, oh, hey, don't worry about it. Well, yeah, come on in. Oh, I don't want to impose. Oh, no, honey, come on. I was just praying a little bit. I was reading my word. It's okay. I can close up. I can get back to it sometime today. It ain't important no way. They don't want to go with God. You got to fast. You got to pray. You got to read that word. You got to do it every day. No such thing about I walk with God occasionally. Occasional people don't stay with God. People looking for a casual relationship don't stay with God. What is it going to cost you? That's why we live in a society where people don't want to get married anymore. Just live together because, if I get married to you, if I got anything, if we don't make it, you're going to get part of my stuff. And I'm not willing to go that far for you. And these people writing prenup. Prenup says we are going to divorce somewhere. That's why I got a prenup. We starting out with that because when we mess up and you mess up, I'm out of here, and you're getting only $10. We done made arrangements ahead of time. That's the way it is. It's sad. And I think sometimes we come to God almost with the same type of mentality. Well, Lord, I'm going to walk with you. I want to serve you. You don't hurry up and give me a man or a woman, a wife, a husband, somebody in my life because I need somebody. Now, I'm going to give you a little time to move on this. If you ain't moved on by next week, we're out of here. They're not willing to pay the price. You may have to walk it alone for a little while. Because the test comes to test all of us. To see where we are. See what we're willing to do. Are you willing to say, I'll wait on you? One young man was in our church years ago. He's no longer here. He backslid years ago. He said, he called me Mom. He said, Mom, you know what I told the Lord? You better hurry up and give me your wife because if he don't, I'm going to sleep on the floor. I said, he don't mind. So you think you're going to give God an ultimatum? If you don't give me a wife here soon, I'm sleeping on the floor. And God says, help yourself. You don't tell me when and how and what to do. Either you want to be saved or you don't. Either you're going to wait until I come or you're not. Either you're going to accept my timing or you're not. But you don't tell me what to do. And until I'm going to sleep on the floor. He's not worried about you on the floor. Get on down there. And if you stay too long, you're going to have a hard time getting up. Understand it. Act like you're going to give God some kind of ultimatum. Job, in spite of all that he went through, you know what he said? Though he slay me, yet I'm going to trust him. But I'm not giving up on God because I go through some difficult times. Because things are hard sometimes. Because the heat is on. It's difficult. My life, I don't want to, I just, I don't know, God, I was doing pretty well till you came in here and done all this. My God, lost my kids, I lost everything. All my money, my friends. And then my wife told me to curse you and die. He said, though he slay me, yet will I trust you. No matter what happens in my life, I'm not giving up God. You have to settle that in your heart and your mind, because once it's settled, you'll never go away from it. But if you got some ifs in there, you ain't going to make it. Esther went to the king knowing full well that if the king didn't extend the golden scepter, it could cost her her head. She said, if I perish, then let me perish. Every Christian in this building, if you are a Christian, need to make up in your mind, if I perish, let me perish. I'm going to do what I got to do. We got too many scared people that can't get things done for the kingdom because we're scared we're going to offend somebody, or we're scared somebody's not going to like us, or we're afraid that something bad may happen to me, so I say nothing. I thought this morning as I looked at TV a little bit before church with the news on, because all over the news is Trayvon Martin and the verdict. And I thought to myself, it is time out for black people in this country and minorities as a whole. We stay quiet until something happens. And then when something happens, we holler a little bit, and then we go back and sit down. You know what? Egypt didn't want a Mubarak as president no more because he was a dictator. He had abused his people. The Egyptian people pulled together, and he said, I'm not going anywhere. He had been there for 30 or 40 years. He said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to die in Egypt. They said, no, you're not. But you know what happened? The people came together as one. And they said, we will not. And you know what? They didn't mind dying for their cause. If this cost me, some people lost their life. But they said, you know what? I'd rather be dead than to have a dictator ruling my life. So what am I going to do? I'm willing to die for it. The people that are willing to die for a cause are the people who have the victories. That's what empowers the terrorists to do what they do. They don't mind dying. They don't mind strapping bombs and things on their bodies and what have you and dying. They don't mind dying. Because somebody lied to them, told them they're going to get 100 virgins. There ain't none of them around. None of them around. And these people are sold out to a cause. We got Christians walking with God, won't sell out for the cause. That won't say, look, I'm going to stay in here. I'm going to say what's right, even when people are mad with me about it. And I saw all those Egyptian people. There's so many of them that just looks like a sea of people. And then the other one comes in there. He says he's going to do things different. And he comes in pretty soon. He wants to control. He's going to replace the other dictator. And the people immediately recognize it. A year or so later said, oh, you out of here. He said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still the president. No, you're not. Because we say you're not. Do you know what? In this country, if the people, the minorities in this country and the black people would stand together, and white too, would stand together for what is right, then they can continue to do wrong. But we're so scared it might cost us something. We're so scared, well, suppose I go to jail. Back in Martin Luther King Jr.'s day, they didn't care if they went to jail. They didn't care. You got more things accomplished when he was here because he knew he was going to die for the cause. He said, I know I'm not going to get there with you. But that's all right. He was willing. He put in the hospital killed, shot, and cut, and everything else happened to this man and the group that was with him. When they saw Martin Luther King on that balcony being shot in the side of his head, they've been running like scared rabbits ever since. Now, I like it, you had a few of them like they're going to be a Martin Luther King Jr. Honey, they soon hid out. Like, I ain't willing to die like that, man. You see his name? Man, I'm telling you, they hit him with something powerful because this was all hanging out. I was there. I'm out of here. If y'all want to, if they want to do anything to you, let them do it. We need some people to say no. No. Me and my daughter was listening this morning, and all they're talking about was what was in the mind of Zimmerman when this happened to him. Listen, it is one thing wrong with this picture. Here it is. You don't need to have all this drama in the courtroom. One thing wrong. You pursued after a man that you should have never went after. You were told by the authorities, we need you not to follow him. And you continue to follow him anyway. And now you want to know who he had to defend himself? That Trayvon should have been the one who was questioning, okay, why are you following me? A white man can be followed in this country all day long, and he don't have to suspect somebody's out to get him. A black man gets followed, you start looking around saying, what's going on? Yes. You following me, I got to know what's happening. Because racial profiling is alive and well in this country. Yes, it is. You could have saved all that money that you went there for all this drama and all this crap going on in the courtroom. Just, okay, the bottom line is, if you had not followed that man, he would be here and you wouldn't have had your fat head scratched up on the ground. That's what it amounts to. Just leave it alone. And I thought about some church people. You make one move and mess up your whole life because you chose not to follow instruction. Now, he's around here talking about he wish he could have his life back. I'm sure Trayvon would like to have his back. I'm sure he would. You got to get to the place, don't be quiet. Talk. Don't just appear on the talk shows today. Keep going. Because that hook-nosed Eric Holder up there in Washington ain't doing jack. Tell me, I've been once, I was racial, I experienced racial profiling. Well, why ain't you out here hollering about it? Why ain't you saying something? I'm just waiting to see what President Obama gonna say. You're a black man, you've been treated bad, you know what it feels like. Say something. Yes. I need you to tell me more that if I had a son, he looked like Trayvon. If you had a son like him, he'd be dead. When you got something to say, President? I'm just waiting. That's what I'm listening for in the news. Speak up, brother. All they say, you don't want to mess with the race issue. Yes, we do. That big white elephant, yes. We got this huge big white elephant sitting in the middle of our society, and you talking about, you don't want to mention that. Well, that elephant will never move until you deal with that elephant. Got to deal with it. Oh, look the other way. Can't even mention race in the courtroom. Why not? And then come on to my, well, do you think it was race? I sure think so. After you kicked me around in slavery and everything else, I kind of think I know when racism is on the line. Come on, well, I got a friend, I know John, and John never struck me as a racist. He never had to strike you as Jack. You white and he white. Why do you have to strike you? He ain't gonna do nothing with you that's racist. Y'all the same color, same person. But when you turn around, put a black one on the other side, you don't need nobody to tell you, is that racism? Whoever's going that route is crazy anyway. And their Governor Perry on there this morning saying, they said, do you think our justice system is fair and all this? You know what he said? Our justice system is blind. Their color is colorblind. You can find that out. Go to the prison when 85% of all prisons throughout this country has got blacks and Hispanics. I don't think that's colorblind, because what you're saying now is that it's just black and Hispanics that do something bad and white people don't. And the devil ain't prejudiced, baby. He'll use the white man, the black man, the red one. He don't care. Get out of here. I don't buy that garbage. Speak out, say something. Well, I just didn't say nothing, girl. You got that man Snowden, who's in Russia right now, he's in Russia because he's a whistleblower, not a criminal. He said this is what y'all need to know. And they've been tracking him down like a bloodhound ever since. The man just said, I think the American people ought to know that everybody's spying on you. Folks are listening to you on your phone calls. They're everywhere. So you tell the truth, we'll kill you. Tell the truth if you will. You don't let them know that. You keep it a secret. Now, they pulled up a thing yesterday for me. I'm going to bring it to our church on Wednesday night. It'll make you sick. The prison system in this country is controlled by Wall Street, major corporations, department stores, Target. I couldn't believe the list. They said it's a gold mine. Check this out. We don't like it that we say slave labor takes place in other countries. But the truth is, slave labor is right here in this country. Because now you can't hang us on a cotton-picking tree no more. Now you put us behind bars and cages like animals, and then you keep us there, and you let us work for 50 cents an hour or a day. Slave labor. And you know what? They make it our appliances. They make all the military people's garments, their helmets, all their clothes, their pants. The prison is making all this stuff slave labor. No, that's why we have long sentences. That's why. This is an organization who went through this stuff. And I'm sure going to find out who they are and what's your name. This is what's wrong. That's why when a man, well, he stole a car and 2 bikes, he got 25 years to life for each one. For a bike and a car. Can you believe that? But make the sentences high because it's a gold mine. Wall Street is invested in it. They get money out of the prison system. So what you do, you keep as many of them in there as you can. You give them long sentences. And they said many of them are not even guilty of any kind of crime. And they're black men, some black women, large population of black men. And we wonder where our men are. They're in cages. They're in cages. Leave them there. And then if you get out, put them on probation. And so we can keep them somewhere in a halfway house. And then if they look wrong, cross their leg wrong, send them back. This thing is serious, people. God said, I need somebody who's going to say, it's not good. This is not right. Something needs to be done about our black brothers and our Hispanic brothers that are suffering like dogs in the prison. Nobody's saying nothing. When do we say enough is enough? Let's stand up and declare it to be not the way that God intended it to be. Slavery is supposed to have been over. It ain't over. It's got another way of doing it. See? I read that stuff. I thought Wednesday night, I can't wait to get here and read this to our members. I sit in the bed. I couldn't help but cry. I couldn't control the tears. This is why. This is why our black brothers. Somebody said last night, if you can kill Trayvon and shoot him in the heart, it's wide open for anybody who chooses to shoot a black man and call it self-defense. Go right ahead now. Go ahead and do it. Now somebody's got to say, that's not right. That's not, that we're not going to accept that. We got to say something. We got to open our mouth sitting over on the sideline looking stupid. They don't get nothing done. And quit judging us about how dark we are one of the state's main one of the state's main witnesses. They didn't like the way she looked. What's that got to do with telling the truth? She's too black. Well, the average white person, if you don't bury them right away, when they die, they turn jet black in 3 days. We can be out for a week or two and still look the same. It's true. You say, something about you I don't like. And I'm really worried. I'm really troubled. Oh my God, they don't like me. Stand in line, baby. Stand in line. Somebody's got to say something, though. You don't get nothing done, but I just didn't say nothing until they put you in jail. Because if they done it to him, they can do it to you. It's got to be an outcry against for truth and against injustice. This is right. This should not happen. Why is it that my son can't go out to the store with a hoodie on? Be careful, don't put your hands in your pocket, son. Why? Why can't I buy me some Skittles and a drink and walk home and be okay? Why? Why am I assumed already that I'm getting ready to do something? And what made you reach the conclusion that you can tell he's up to something? What did he do? Never came to the table. I could tell he was up to something. He looked like he was into drugs. How do you tell that by looking? No. You got to say no. It's not right. You got to feel anger. Not anger that makes you get a gun and shoot somebody. No. But the anger that says I disapprove of what you just did. And I have to say something about it. And that's the same way it is with the church. I can't stand here as a preacher and let you sit in this church and commit any sin you want to, but I didn't say nothing. You know me. Come up in here and play church if you want to. Last thing you'll remember was your feet was going out that door. You out of here. This is church. This is God's house. We don't play games. See, you don't even know I was sick this week. And hey, I don't either. Yes. Come on. We got to say no. Preachers ain't coming against sin because they sinning. Preachers let you sit on the pew and call yourself a Christian and know you're lying, know you whoremongering around, know you're drinking booze, know you're into drugs, know you're at the club last night, and nobody says that's wrong. God said, Rose, I need you over here because you ain't going to shut up. No, I'm not going to shut up. See, you got to know that you cannot do what's right and not have consequences for right. There's consequences for doing wrong. There are consequences for doing it right. So I don't have a bunch of friends. Neither am I looking for them. My life is full. I got members of this church that loves me to pieces, and if they didn't, I'd still be fine. I'd still be fine, no matter what. I'm not going to let you get me down. When I come up and tell the truth, I'm sorry, y'all, I shouldn't have said that. What kind of wuss are you? Stand up. And they don't like some women that stand up. My husband told me one time we wasn't married that long, and we were married a little while, and he said to me, Rose, I need you to be quiet. I never did like a woman with a lot of mouth. I said, you got one, baby. He stayed with me for 34 years, so the Lord took him home, and he got where he loved this woman who had a lot of mouth. I said, I'm not getting ready to change. You don't like a woman with a lot of mouth, you don't like me. I'm going to talk, baby. It's either right or it's wrong. You either got it going on or you don't. You either on top with God or you on the bottom. You on your way to heaven or on your way to hell. There ain't no in-between stuff. Get it together. You know what? What kind of church is this? I thought somebody invited me to a church, because this ain't no church. That woman's some politician or something. I would never go by that name, because anybody that's a politician is a liar. They lie. They kiss your baby and can't stand you. and don't want to kiss your baby, to be honest. Yeah. Politicians are nothing but professional liars. That's all they are. See? If you're looking for something of value, something of quality, I promise you, it will cost you. You're not going to go to the store and buy a diamond ring and a CZ and come out and say, I got the same thing you got. No, you didn't. There is a difference. The real thing. They was talking about the other day on TV about Coke, because Coke changed their taste of Coke, and people liked Coke the way it was, and they changed it, and it was such an outcry over Coke, they switched it back. They said, if it ain't broke, buddy, don't fix it, because we like Coke just the way it is. Don't mess with it. When Twinkies quit coming, I like Twinkies. When I'm so glad they're coming back. I don't eat them often, but I do have a Twinkie every now and then. There ain't nothing wrong with a good Twinkie. And I thought, I'm just waiting to see if it got that same taste. Because Hostess had it going on, and they know it. Sarah Lee came out here with a Twinkie. I thought, baby, go back. Stay with the pound cake. This ain't your thing. No. I want the real thing. No. That's not going to happen. See? But if you're going to get the real thing, you got to pay the real price. I went to a store one time. This has been several years ago. And I saw this watch in the counter, and I thought, oh, I like that. So I had a charge account at that store, and I said, I'll take that watch. And she said, all right. I thought it was a fashion watch. Not the real thing, fashion. Because that's what it looked more like, a fashion watch. So I said, I'll take that. I get home and open up my box, pulled out my receipt, $10,000. I got on the phone, I said, hey. No, baby. I said, I made a mistake. I got to bring that watch back. Say, oh, yeah, Miss Banks, that's fine. Bring it on back. I thought, honey, I couldn't get there fast enough. I thought, here you go, baby. $10,000. It was a nice-looking watch, not $10,000. Every time, from that time on, I remember the name of those people. And anytime I go in the store, I say, don't mess with him. That is not fashion. That's the real thing right there. And it wasn't even that pretty. See, if you're going to get $10,000, give me a lot of bling. So, no, that ain't going to happen. So let me take this back. And you know what? When you come to God, you come the same way. Went on home with it, got saved, talked in tongues, ran around the church. Got home and said, what did I just do? And you get home and John calls on the phone. That's your boyfriend. He calls on the phone and you say, hi, John. Sister Rose said I have to give him up. Hey, John, can I call you back in just a minute? You know, the more I think about it, what am I going to do? John pays the rent. Why are you prostituting yourself? Don't get mad with me. If John is paying the rent for exchange of sex, that's prostitution. Is that right? That's all I want to hear. You can't stay with somebody and be a prostitute and go to the kingdom. Prostitutes don't go to heaven. You better stop for a minute and think, baby. I've had folks tell me, well, Sister Rose, you know, he pays the bills. Do you want to go to heaven or hell? Just make up your mind. You either going to not have your bills paid or you going to work and pay them, or you going to hell. Well, I don't go over to the Rose Church. You can't do nothing over there. Yes, we can. We do a lot of things over here. We just don't prostitute. Yeah. I'm being honest with you. I'm trying to give you the truth. You can take with you when you leave today. You said, you know what? I'll tell people, honey, don't go over there. Child, I went to that church when she got through talking about your mama, your grandpa, and everybody else. I said, Wait till I get out. I started looking around for the door. I thought, where is the door? If I know I was up against this, I'd have sat back over there somewhere. I got you hooked in. I can't get up right now. A man used to listen to me on the radio years ago when I used to be on the radio, and he was Presbyterian, and he had been listening. He loved Sister Rose preaching. So that night he decided, I'm gonna go out and meet Sister Rose. So he came to the church and happened to have a special service that night. You've never been in one, it probably scare you to death. But special service that night, and he was sitting over there like this. Because this was a different Sister Rose that he heard on the radio. And people were being slain in the spirit. God was just touching people's lives. And he told me, he said, Sister Rose, had I been just a little bit closer to that door, he said, I'd have took off out that door running. He said, I've never been that scared in my life. Isn't it something that we scared of God, but we ain't scared of the devil? The power of God manifests itself. We scared of him. But the devil come along, beat you up, black your eyes, do everything else. You ain't scared of him. Understand, if you're going to be a Christian, yes, it's going to cost you. I'm not going to finish this message. I can tell my time is running out. But if any man come to me and hate not his father, his mother, and wife, and children, and brethren and sisters, yea, his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. You say, I got to hate my mama. He's telling you, don't make them first. You got to love me more than you love mama, more than you love daddy, more than you love your sisters and brothers, more than you love children, more than you love anybody in the whole world. He said, and whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me, he cannot be my disciple. If you're not willing to suffer, if you're not willing to go through some difficult things, you can't be my disciple. Yes, it's going to cost you. You want to be saved? Let me tell you, heaven's a beautiful place, and it ain't cheap. And ain't no bargain tickets. There ain't no drawing for you to draw something out of. You want to be saved or don't you? It's going to cost you. Friends going to cut you loose who you thought were your friends. People don't like you. People talking about you lying on child over Sister Rose Church and got messed up. No, you came over here and got straightened out. You got straightened out. Don't get mad when the truth comes. See? Do not respect wrong ever. Wrong never deserves respect. You know what I heard all morning? Well, I respect what the jury did. How could you respect that when it was wrong? Because if I respect the wrong, there's no need to change it. If I have respect for it, I have high regard for it, I esteem it high, and then you tell me I respect it, but I think the verdict was wrong. I don't respect wrong. Every person in here should say, if it's wrong, I'm not with you. If you're right, I'm with you 100%. But I don't know. I don't agree with that. We got this crazy thing in society. We got the best system in the world. I told my daughter today, I said, you know what I'm getting ready to do? I'm getting ready to get me some people together. Say, what I want you to do is start doing some study on justice systems around the world. That's going to take a little time. We ain't going to the little bitty islands. We're going to the major countries. What is their justice system about? Because what I thought when the lady came here from Germany, she said in Germany, if you commit a crime, they cannot give you overly long sentences for anything. But once you've done it, you are given a clean record, and you don't have this cloud hanging over your head to the day you die. So if people get out of prison, can't even get a job because they still got them under the same umbrella. You call this best? I don't think so. Because that never gives me a chance to quit. You're making me pay again and again and again and again. And then you're asking me why I end back up in prison because I can't even get a job. Because I made a mistake, because I've done something wrong in my life, and now you're telling me for the rest of my life I'm being known as a felon. So the minute somebody do a background check on you, you can't have a job. Well, how do you pick up the pieces and start your life over again? That's not justice. That's not the best way. I don't even agree with the fact that because we have a jury, people can think and feel anything they want to while they're listening to your case. They can come in there, and if you black, it's just different. Yeah, you did it. And there's some white people, don't get me wrong, who've been mistreated and not have always had justice either. But the majority is the minority who don't get it. So I got to understand why you want me to respect something that's not just, that's not right, that's not fair. And you tell me it's the best system in the world. How is that? I'm going to do me some study, and I'm going to get me a whole group and say, let's study on these other countries' justice systems. Okay, because you are making me believe that everybody else is way worse than we are. And because you don't know it, and because you have no knowledge, you tend to believe that. Find out for yourself. You just can't make out somebody walk and say, we got the best in the world. Really? How many times you went to the store? We got the best meat in the country. And you take it home and it stinks up the whole kitchen because it's rotten. Because the man told you got the best in the world. You need to do a little shopping around for yourself, find out what is really best. So what is going on in other countries? What's happening there? That you and I have no clue what's going on. So if you tell me ours is the best, am I going to know any different? No. I'm going to do study on it. So I can talk from the fact this is what they do in this country. This is how their justice system works. Now this is how ours work. So would you say this is better? Or would you say they got some pointers we need to pick up and bring over here? Come on. See, don't respect anything because somebody tells you. The only person you can respect for what they say is God. Because he's not man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. But what he tells you is a fact. Think about it this morning. Every person sitting in this building, take a moment. If the Lord says to you, I'm looking for somebody, a man, woman, boy, or girl, will stand up and say, if God needs somebody, if he wants somebody on my job to stand up, if he wants to, my son-in-law recently lost a job because he wouldn't lie for the people on the job. She called him and all said, we're not going to be able to keep you, son. You know, if you ain't going to lie for us, we got to get you out of here. And he lost his job, and while he got in the car, leaving the place, somebody called him with a better job and more money, and he didn't lose nothing as a result of taking a stand. You don't compromise. You don't sit on the sideline and have nothing to say. The only people that don't talk are dumb people. So, well, I'm not dumb. You're something. Something's wrong. I got something to say. Most people got something to say about what they need to shut up about. But what they need to say something about, open their mouth for, they're not doing that. I just didn't say nothing. People used to come and say, Sister Rose, you know, when she was doing that or saying that, I thought to myself, such and such, and I thought this. I said, did you tell them? No, I didn't say nothing. Well, quit thinking then. Because I say what people think. See, because you ain't going to do it. You ain't got that kind of guts. So you just think it. I guarantee you I'll carry it for you. You don't have to try to figure it all out. See? Don't let nobody tell you we got to respect wrong. We cannot respect wrong. We can never respect injustice. We can never disrespect this book. This is the only book on the planet that don't have lies in it. The only one. We can believe it. We can believe that. Because God is not man that he should lie. He said, let every man be a liar. Let God be true. So, hey, if it's in here, I believe it. In the other book, it could be true, it could not be. But in here, it's absolute. So if you're sitting there this morning and say, Sister Rose, you know what? I sure would like you to pray for me. I'll pray for you and ask God to help you. But you as a people in this country had better let your voice be known. Thank God for social media. They went crazy last night. They went crazy, and they should have. They should have. Don't underestimate the power that's in our hand to make things happen, to change situations. Don't underestimate the power. You have nothing if you say nothing. No change comes about with quiet people. No. I said one time, it's good I wasn't in slavery days, because I'd have burned up all the masters. I'd have set them all on fire. By the time I got through, if you wanted to kill me, it wouldn't matter. At least I got rid of all y'all. You don't sit there and say, yes, master, yes, master, yes, master. My father-in-law said to me one time, uh, Charles' stepdad, I went out in the country. I'm from a city girl. I went out in the country, and I was left at the house there. And this white man came up and said, I answered the door, and he said, is Mary here? Don't even put a hand on her name. I said, no, she's not here. Well, I came by to see if she had any eggs this morning, so I said, you know what? I said, I don't know anything about any of that. And my father-in-law came back, and I said, some man came up here wanting to know if y'all had some eggs and stuff, and he's talking crazy. And I told him, I don't know nothing about nothing. He said, yeah. He said, what did you say? He said, you have to say yes, sir, no, sir. I said, no, I don't. I ain't yes, sir, nobody. I yes, sir. People that are older than me, my grandmother taught me respect seniors. I did. But what says I got to say yes, sir, to him? Because he's master. He's not my master. I ain't saying no yes, sir, no, sir, nothing. There ain't no eggs here. And if there is any here, I don't know nothing about it. Get off of it. He's scared to death. Hey, be careful, girl. He says to white folks, come here. You never say no. You said no. Yeah. I said, that's kind of what I was taught. Not over here. I thought, y'all are some of the scary. You know what? You could do anything you want to somebody who you are afraid of. I mean, they can do anything to you if you're afraid of them. When you stand tall and say, even a dog can be bad until you let him know I ain't taking it. Say, come on. Pull your mouth. Do the same thing. Come up on me if you want to. We had the neighbor's dog up there with us. He don't like black people. I'm the only black up there, and his dog charging toward my grandson, and my son-in-law was getting ready to get in the car. Here comes this big dog. Now, you're supposed to keep him on the leash, and there he comes. And Cliff said, you better do something with your dog. They're going to tell you right now, if you attack me or my son, that's going to be the end of it. He said, well, it's because you're so mean to him. He said, no, I'm being mean when I stomp his brains out. That's me. Well, if he attacks me, I'm going to stomp his brains out. Of course, he's trying to get saved, but that's what he told me. Yeah. The Lord is helping him. So, let me put that aside for a moment. Musicians, won't you come? And if there's people here this morning that say, I want a way out of this situation. I want to be a voice in this hour. I want to speak for those who can't speak for themselves. I need to be the voice for Trayvon Martin who cannot speak. And not only Trayvon Martin, all people of all nationalities, all over the country and the world, be the voice for somebody who don't have one. Say something. People that's quiet don't do any good to anybody. Make up in your mind, I'm going to change that. Become a different person. So while our musicians are singing and playing, if you'll stand to your feet and you want prayer, won't you come and I'll pray for you. Yes. Yes, yes. Whatever you need, God's got it. You don't have to remain the same that you are today. If you're going to fight, fight for a good cause. You don't have to cuss. You don't have to rant and rave. You can just be strong and stand for what's right. I preached a message last Sunday, when you've done everything you know to stand, stand anyway. Stand. Don't give in. You're not going to be popular. People are not going to like you, but that's okay. Life goes on. I got a lot of people who don't like me, and I'm a happy camper. You couldn't make me upset and depressed if you wanted to, because I'm not here. You don't have the source of my joy. There's only one person that gives me joy unspeakable and full of glory, and that's God. If you're standing here today, make a difference in your life. Don't live your whole life talking about, I just wasn't the kind of person that ever said anything about anything. Well, ask the Lord to change you this morning into a powerhouse, so people's lives can be blessed, they can be helped. If you're there this morning, or any of you, those of you that didn't come up, and you know you're a coward standing back behind the pews, think about it. So I ain't come forward, but I ain't got no guts for nothing. You can have it if you want it. He'll give it to you. Come on, honey. God bless you.
Lost in despair, had no hope within. But oh, right now I'm ready to serve the Lord. It was my faith. One day I found him, found everlasting peace, just like a precious gem. But right now I'm ready to serve the Lord. You see, I have felt the stain of sin, lost in despair, and no hope within. But Lord, right now I'm ready to serve the Lord. You see, God gave us very best he had. Oh, it was his only begotten Son. Tell me one more. Tell me what more could he have done? And oh, my soul has been angered. Gonna live for Christ. I thank God for his goodness for the rest of my life. And right now I'm ready to serve the Lord. Oh, yeah. It was by faith. One day I found him. I found everlasting peace, just like a precious gem. And right now Tell me what more. Tell me what more. I want to know what more. He has done. And oh, my soul has been anchored. I'm going to live for Christ. I thank God for his goodness for the rest of my life. Oh, right now I'm ready. Said I'm ready, yeah. No, I'm ready, yeah. Right now I'm ready, yeah. Oh, I'm ready. Right now I'm ready, yeah. Oh, I'm ready. Right now I'm ready. Oh, I'm gonna serve you, yeah. To the day I die, yeah. Right now I'm ready. Oh, yes, I'm ready, yeah. I'm gonna live for you, Jesus. Do what you want me to do, yeah. I'm gonna live for you, Jesus. Say what you
May I say to everybody that's here, they've got plenty of refreshments for you if you'd like. They'll give you directions which door to go through to get it. Hope you come back tonight and hear what the Lord is saying to you again. He's not through talking. You were here this morning, he's speaking, he's still speaking. He's speaking when you don't even want to hear it. He's speaking when you don't tune him out. Come back tonight, give the Lord some time. Every Sunday would be a winner for you. Sunday morning and Sunday night, just don't be an early morning Christian. What about at night? When you serving the devil, you have stuff all around the clock. Okay, come back and give him some time. God bless you.